Hi everyone. I'm on the road again. I'm not going to sing because I can't. So I'm off to Albury to do a workshop, Empowered Success workshop and more for Brianna, my leader in Albury, and then off to Sydney for the week to meet up with a lot of people and is it a holiday? No, I'm working. But my oldest daughter, who turns 30 on the 29th, is coming up. So we're going to spend coming down, I should say, from Brisbane to Sydney. We're going to spend some time together, which I'm really looking forward to. Might do the bridge climb again. I've only done it 4 times. Maybe not. So what I've had requests to talk about doTERRA in the early days. It's very different, seemingly, to what it is now. I don't think the owners have changed. I don't think they've changed their mission. It's always been to be giving complementary medicine to the world, and they've done the most amazing job. Probably they didn't expect it to become so big, but what it's done is we've gone into the mainstream, and it's changed. It's changed. Well, it hasn't changed everything yet because not enough people know about it, but that's changing too. There's lots and lots more people knowing about it, and we've only just started. In a few years' time, wow, the media is going to take notice because they're going to have to. And once we go TGA, they're going to have to take notice because we can say things that we know it can do, but we can say them legally now, or we will be able to say them. So it's very, very exciting. So I joined doTERRA in January 2011. It was actually a false start for me before that, because I was introduced by someone that didn't really do it properly. He was more interested in the business side of it and didn't introduce it to me properly, and I just wasn't interested. I thought, what are these bottles filled with water? I'm a clothing wholesaler. I'm not a network marketer. Surprise, surprise. And 25 years I was in the family business in selling mainly children's clothing from China and other countries into Target, Kmart, Myer, David Jones. It was big quantity, dealt with schoolwear, swimwear, jackets. My father started the business in the late 40s. My father was one of the first Westerners to go into China in 1964. So he's left a wonderful legacy, a real pioneer. He was there at the start. So I took over the family business in 87 and did that until about 2007, 2008, when things became quite difficult because I was sort of the middleman, and Coles, Myer were going into China directly. So it was pretty difficult. There wasn't much margin there. I was dealing in a few cents, dealing with hundreds of thousands of pieces of clothing and only making literally a few cents on each. So if something went wrong, and it did, it wasn't good. So I finished that business in 2007, 2008, and didn't know what to do. I actually got a bit depressed. For about 6 months, I could hardly get out of bed. Very hard time. But I pulled myself out of that, got off any medication I was on, because I knew, this is well before doTERRA, I knew that this is not good. And basically went out and looked for things to do. I sold waterless car wash. I was a distributor for a product called Game Ready, which is an ice therapy unit. I got into all the AFL clubs, FFA, Cricket Australia. I just got out there and did it. Like before that, I went to LA, got off the plane, went to Target and bought about 100 different things and contacted people. It's amazing what you can do if you have to. So I went from sort of running this quite large business dealing with key people to getting out there and having to, put food on the table for six kids. Anyway, so that was my sort of past in a nutshell, very much in a nutshell. And I got introduced to doTERRA by a guy named Andrew Laterra after I had got introduced sort of incorrectly first, and that was in December 2010. And he was introduced by the wonderful Natalie and Andy Goddard. So I was very, very lucky to be in their team. I didn't want to do doTERRA even the second time. I was doing something called Juice Plus, and I was trying to get Andrew to buy that. He won. Why? Because of the Lifelong Vitality Pack. Juice Plus is a great product, fruit and vegetables in a capsule, but Lifelong Vitality Pack is classes above it because we've got the fruit and vegetables plus. So that was early 2011. We did classes that we weren't really signing people up, and we were trying to work out why. And Natalie told us, well, Andrew and I, well, probably more Andrew because he understood it, was a bit complicated. He was explaining the chemical reasons why things worked, why doTERRA worked, and people sort of didn't get it. It's a simple process, and after we worked that out, things started happening. But really only a few months after I started with doTERRA, I knew it was what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Why? Because of the owners. Number one, I researched the owners, I looked at their past. So one thing you got to do, look at what the owners, what their past is and their mission and their why. And it was so pure. And I looked after them when they came to Melbourne, just the most wonderful people. Nothing's changed there, by the way. They didn't have any outside investment in the business, even though they were offered. They were debt-free. They didn't pay themselves for a year or so. So if you're thinking about putting your very important time into a business, into a company, you research it. But I can tell you there's none better than doTERRA. I can tell you that absolutely categorically. And I've sort of spoken to a lot of people, seen a lot of companies, and there's nothing comes close. So doTERRA started off in 2008. As I said before, the owners didn't really know how big it was going to get. They just had a mission, and that's never wavered. The quality of the oils is, we haven't had oils because we couldn't get the quality, so we're not going to have them. That's just the way it is. We don't sell rose in the 5 ml concentrated bottle because we can't get enough of them. That's just the way it is. So purity and potency, that's what it's all about. doTERRA in the early days in Australia was unrecognisable to what it is now with the support you get. The shipping was $65 to get it from the US. We didn't have anywhere near the amount of products we do now or oils we do now. We obviously didn't have a warehouse in Australia. I think the warehouse and the office in Australia was about 2013 when Jared Auger, who was our first general manager, most amazing guy, he set up the office. We had one person working with him, Christina. And I think now we've got about 30 in there or something like that or more, I don't know. It's just quite incredible. Of course, the office set up in Mulgrave in Notting Hill to start off with, and the changes have been quite wonderful. What I want to say to you is just use the oils, learn about them a little bit, but you don't have to be too much. If you've got a good mentor upline, they will help you through it. But it really is up to you. You're the one that needs to learn it. The other thing is, There's a lot of training out there. The Empowered Success training is fantastic. Oh, we've got the sun going there. Hang on. That better? Whoa. Empowered Success is quite wonderful. Wow. I'll just put my hand there. You follow what suits you. There are some things in it which I probably don't follow. It's a little bit not how I teach. 99% is, but it is a fantastic resource, especially the Nature Solutions and the Live Guide. So use that. Look through it yourself. Familiarise yourself with it. The Droplii app is fantastic. If DROPLII. If you want that for free, just message me. doTERRA is, how can I put this? It goes people, products, business. Align yourself with people who are on your same wavelength. And I don't believe that, I'm a Blue Diamonds and a founder. I don't believe rank means anything. Rank is just that you're smart in structuring your business. There are some people who have done a fantastic job, and maybe they haven't put people where they could have for different reasons. But boy, oh boy, they've got a lot of knowledge. So talk to everybody. I don't care if they're executive or presidential diamond. Everybody's got a story, and you can learn from people. Just take a few % from everybody and use it the way you want to use it. So we've got some wonderful founders of doTERRA, original founders of doTERRA. There's about 8 to 10 of us. If you ever want to know the origins of doTERRA, go to doterra.com.au, look up our leaders, and have a look at the founders and contact them. They would love to talk to you and explain to you where doTERRA came from, what it was like in the early days and what they did, because you can't buy that. You can't buy that experience. And what the owners said to us in the early days, how we looked after them. I remember taking David Sterling and Dr. Hill. David lost his luggage, he didn't turn up, so we had to go back to the airport and work and find that. There was a time when I was in Perth and they'd missed their flight. It was one of the first meetings in Perth, and Helen Shaw, you know all about this, we had to sort of take over the meeting. This was my first talk. I'd never got up and spoken about doTERRA before, and I was so nervous, I was shaking. But I just remembered what Natalie said at one of the meetings previously, and I just tried to mimic what she said and how she did it. Not very well, mind you, but I tried. I took the owners to Princes Park, the old Carlton footy ground, because we were trialling the Lifelong Vitality Pack with the Melbourne Rebels when they were there. And so Dr. Hill, David and Jared, we all went to Princes Park, and that was quite something, and the Rebels trialled it for a year, which is unheard of to do that with a natural product. So that was pretty exciting. That was 2012, I think. So what I'm saying is doTERRA is the most wonderful company. It's going to grow and grow and grow. Talk to the people who were there at the start, because it's quite unique. It'll probably never be done again, the start of this sort of company. doTERRA will grow. I mean, we turn over $2 to $3 billion a year now, and that's going to become $10 billion in just a few years. But there's only one start. There's only one experience and one time, and that was, I'm very, very grateful to have been through that, and I want to tell as many people as possible. As far as the products go, just keep using them and keep sharing them. And if you want to build a business, just keep using and sharing them. That's pretty much it, because the people will come to you. You won't come to them. The people will come to you. Be persistent. It's like using the oils. Be persistent. Sharing. Be persistent. Carry the oils around everywhere with you. It's so simple. It is. Doing workshops for 2 or 3 days is fantastic, and it's a great social event. Does it help you in business? Maybe it helps quite a few people. But I believe nothing can change one-on-one meetings with someone. There's people that will give you just 15 minutes of their time, and that can change everything. I think that's all you need a lot of the times. So keep getting out there, keep using the oils, and just be very grateful that you've discovered this in any way you want to use it. I'm grateful every day. I don't know what I'd be doing if it wasn't for doTERRA, and a lot of people I know are in the same boat. So thanks for having a listen. I'm about an hour out of Albury. See ya.